Chapter 5 Infiltrating the Ministry. Weeks passed, and Creature finally returned with Mundungus Fletcher. Under interrogation, Mundungus revealed that he had been forced to give the locket to Dolores Umbridge. The trio now faced a daunting task: infiltrating the Ministry of Magic. After careful planning and surveillance, they chose their moment. Using Polyjuice Potion, they transformed into 3 Ministry workers and entered the building. The Ministry had changed dramatically under Voldemort's control, with anti-Muggle propaganda everywhere and trials of Muggleborns in progress. Harry, disguised as Albert Runcorn, found himself in a position of unexpected authority. He used this to free a Muggle-born wizard from interrogation, a small act of rebellion in the heart of enemy territory. Meanwhile, Hermione, as Mafalda Hopkirk, was forced to participate in the trials, witnessing firsthand the cruelty of the new regime. Ron, as Reginald Cattermole, struggled to maintain his cover while dealing with a crisis in the Magical Maintenance Department. Their search led them to Umbridge's office, where they found the locket around her neck. In a tense confrontation, Harry stunned Umbridge, and Yaxley and Hermione grabbed the Horcrux, but their cover was blown, and chaos erupted as they fought their way out of the Ministry. In a desperate escape, they apparated to the steps of Grimmauld Place, but Yaxley had grabbed onto Hermione at the last second. Thinking quickly, she apparated again, this time to a forest, but the damage was done. Their safe house was compromised. As they set up camp in the wilderness, the gravity of their situation sank in. They had the Horcrux, but at great cost. Now truly on their own, with no safe haven to return to, the reality of their mission became starkly clear. The path ahead was more uncertain than ever, but they had taken the first crucial step in their fight against Voldemort. Chapter 6 Godric's Hollow. Weeks passed as Harry, Ron, and Hermione moved from place to place, camping in various remote locations. The locket Horcrux, which they took turns wearing, seemed to intensify their fears and doubts. Tensions rose, particularly between Ron and Harry. After much debate, they decided to visit Godric's Hollow, Harry's birthplace. Harry hoped to find clues about the Sword of Gryffindor, which they needed to destroy the Horcrux. Hermione also suggested they might meet Bathilda Bagshot, a magical historian who might have information. On Christmas Eve, they arrived in the snowy village, disguised by Polyjuice Potion. They visited the graveyard, finding the graves of Harry's parents and the Piverell family. The emotional weight of the moment was palpable as Harry stood before his parents' final resting place. As they left the graveyard, they encountered an old woman they believed to be Bathilda Bagshot. She led them to her house, but something felt wrong. Unable to speak, she beckoned Harry upstairs alone. In a horrifying moment, Bathilda transformed into Nagini, Voldemort's snake. A fierce battle ensued, with Hermione arriving just in time to save Harry. They escaped, but not before Harry's wand was broken in the chaos. As they disapparated, Harry had a vision of Voldemort's memories the night his parents died, seen through the Dark Lord's eyes. The visit to Godric's Hollow, meant to provide answers, had instead left them with more questions, and in greater danger than ever. Injured and shaken, they retreated to the Forest of Dane. The loss of Harry's wand felt like a physical blow, a stark reminder of their vulnerability. As they nursed their wounds, both physical and emotional, the reality of their mission weighed heavily upon them. The path to defeating Voldemort seemed more daunting than ever. Chapter 7 The Tale of the Three Brothers. In the depths of the Forest of Dane, tensions reached a breaking point. Ron, influenced by the Horcrux and frustrated by their lack of progress, abandoned Harry and Hermione after a heated argument. His departure left a void, and the remaining duo struggled to maintain hope. One night, while Hermione slept, Harry noticed a silver duo patronus in the forest. Following it, he was led to a frozen pond, where he saw the sword of Gryffindor beneath the ice. In his attempt to retrieve it, the Horcrux around his neck tried to strangle him. Unexpectedly, Ron returned, saving Harry and destroying the Horcrux with the sword. His return brought renewed energy to their mission. During a moment of respite, Hermione decided to read The Tale of the Three Brothers from The Tales of Beedle, the Bard, the book Dumbledore had left her. The story spoke of three powerful objects: the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Invisibility Cloak, together known as the Deathly Hallows. Harry became obsessed with the idea of the Hallows, particularly the Resurrection Stone, which could bring back the dead. He began to believe that finding the Hallows, not the Horcruxes, was their true mission. Hermione, however, remained skeptical, insisting they focus on destroying the Horcruxes. Ron supported her, creating a rift in the group's unity. As they debated their next move, Harry's scar burned. In a vision, he saw Voldemort interrogating Grindelwald about the Elder Wand. The connection between the Hallows and their quest was becoming clearer. But so too was the danger they faced. The trio now stood at a crossroads. Should they pursue the Hallows or continue their hunt for Horcruxes? And how long could they evade Voldemort's ever-tightening grip? Chapter 8: The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore. As the trio continued their journey, they tuned into Potterwatch, a secret radio broadcast supporting Harry. This boost to their morale was short-lived, however, as Harry accidentally spoke Voldemort's name, breaking the taboo and alerting Snatchers to their location. In the chaos of their escape, they were captured and taken to Malfoy Manor. There, they faced a terrifying ordeal. Bellatrix Lestrange, seeing the sword of Gryffindor, became frantic, believing they had broken into her Gringotts vault. She tortured Hermione for information, while Harry and Ron were imprisoned in the cellar. In the dungeon, they found Luna Lovegood, Dan Thomas, and Ollivander. With the help of Dobby the house elf, who had answered Harry's desperate call, they planned their escape. In a fierce skirmish, they managed to overpower their captors and flee, but not before Bellatrix's knife found its mark in Dobby's chest. They escaped to Shell Cottage, Bill and Fleur's home, but Dobby died in Harry's arms on the beach. As they buried the brave elf, Harry's resolve strengthened. He decided to forsake the quest for the Hallows and focus on destroying the Horcruxes. During their recovery at Shell Cottage, Harry interviewed Ollivander about wand lore and Griffook about breaking into Gringotts. He learned more about the Elder Wand and realized that Voldemort was after it, believing it would make him invincible. Harry also read Rita Skeeter's book, The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore, which painted a complex picture of Dumbledore's past. Despite the shocking revelations about Dumbledore's friendship with Grindelwald and the tragedy of his sister's death, Harry chose to trust in the man he knew. As they planned their next move, a dangerous break-in at Gringotts, Harry grappled with his faith in Dumbledore and the weight of his own destiny. The final confrontation with Voldemort was drawing nearer, and the stakes had never been higher. Chapter 9: Malfoy Manor. The Snatchers, led by the vicious Fenrir Greyback, dragged Harry, Ron, and Hermione to Malfoy Manor. Despite Hermione's quick thinking in disguising Harry with a stinging jinx, the Death Eaters were suspicious. Inside the manor, they faced Bellatrix Lestrange and the Malfoys. The atmosphere was tense as Draco was called to identify Harry. Despite recognizing them, Draco hesitated, unwilling to condemn them outright. Bellatrix's attention was suddenly drawn to the sword of Gryffindor, which she believed to be safely stored in her Gringotts vault. Panicked, she separated Hermione for interrogation, sending the boys to the cellar. In the dank basement, Harry and Ron found Luna Lovegood, Dan Thomas, the Wand-Maker Ollivander, and the Goblin Griffook, as they desperately sought a way out. They could hear Hermione's screams from above. Harry, in his desperation, used the shard of Sirius's mirror to call for help. To his amazement, Dobby the house elf appeared. Harry quickly sent Dobby to rescue the others, while he and Ron planned to save Hermione. Upstairs, they managed to disarm Bellatrix and Draco. In the ensuing chaos, the chandelier crashed down, allowing them to snatch back their wands and the sword. Dobby reappeared to whisk them away, but not before Bellatrix threw her silver knife. They apparated to Shell Cottage, Bill and Fleur's home, as relief washed over them at their narrow escape. Harry realized with horror that Bellatrix's knife had found its mark. Dobby, the brave elf who had saved them all, collapsed on the beach, the silver knife protruding from his chest. As Dobby died in Harry's arms, whispering his name, the true cost of their mission hit home. Harry dug the grave by hand, without magic, as a final tribute to his small, valiant friend. The escape from Malfoy Manor had been successful, but at a terrible price. As they regrouped at Shell Cottage, the trio knew that their most dangerous task, yet breaking into Gringotts, lay ahead.